How's it going, everyone? Time for another update on the Sling TSi build. So finally it was time to put the panel in. I was hoping for what would be the last time, but it turned out not to be. We'll get to that later, but pretty much everything was put in at this stage. I even connected up the vent levers to adjust the air coming in and out. The whole center console, all the side panels, the seats, the front seats, the rear seats, the rear floor has been riveted in, and the rear channel where the audio jacks for the passengers are, they all got finished and put in. I mean, the upholstery it's such a nice job that the factory does of the upholstery kit. Everything's pretty well. It fits quite well. Everything is cut to the right size, and so it didn't have much issues. Just, you know, it just takes time identify the cracked pieces and glue them together, so it's nothing challenging about this stage of the build, I'd say. In terms of the panel itself, I had pretty much everything, the radio and the transponder, installed for the first time. It was quite interesting how that is installed onto the panel, but and I've been when you're running, it drains the battery quite quickly, so you can see it's consuming about 5 amps here, just running the G3X and the G5. I think when I'm running a few items, I've seen up to 8 amps when it's charging the batteries as well. Also at this stage, the rudder was obviously installed and the rudder cables fitted. So at this stage it was time to check the tension on those rudder cables. So what we did was we lifted up the front of the aircraft. I mean, this would be tricky to do with the wings on because of the weight, so it's better to do at this stage, and make sure there's enough, the tension. It shouldn't be too tight. Pretty much the only adjustment is at the nose wheel push rods. You can extend them to reduce the tension at the rudder. There's literally not much else you can do to adjust that, because it comes already fixed from the factory, that length of the rudder cables. There is an adjustment in the middle, in the rear fuselage, which I think that just gives it a tiny bit of adjustment in the middle, but that doesn't make much of a difference, I think. It's all down to the front push rod lengths. But I think I'm pretty much there with that tension. I've compared it to the other TSi that's based in the UK, and this was when pretty much most of the upholstery, including the internal, the side trim panels, went in, and it's great because they're all one large pieces, so it's quite easy to fit. The control sticks, at the rear position, it did kind of interfere with the seats, but I did check with the other TSIs and that's standard. Still got to fit the bottom carpets again. I'm not doing that until the wings are on, because you'll still need access to all of that to install the wing bolts. So the side trim panels, I've kept them in place, marked the holes and put the rivet nuts in. They haven't finished put in place. The seats, especially the front seats, are really comfortable. I could probably sit in the front seats, even though I'm quite a tall person, with even probably, I think there are 5 blocking positions for the seats. I could probably sit in second or third position even, and it'll still have enough leg room. Headroom is a bit of an issue, I think, especially for the rear passengers. So the rear, the empennage trim is the last bit that needs to be tightened up. Again, we'll do that once we've completed the rigging of the elevator movement and all that. The canopy rubber still to be done. I've ordered some with adhesive backing. I think that will be a much easier installation than the one that's provided in the kit. Trying to fix that using carpet adhesive isn't going to be fun, so I've ordered some with adhesive backing on it, so we'll wait for that to arrive. And as I said, the seats quite comfortable with the front seats and good headroom and leg room, but the rear seats for tall people, it's quite tight. Yeah, you'll have to sit in and gauge for yourself if the rear seats are for you. The panel, when everything was on, it's mainly the Avionics and the EFIS backup switch on, that'll power everything up. I've connected up the heater, the autopilot, the transponder and radio. There are some hotkeys on my control stick for swapping the frequency to standby frequency. All that seemed to be working fine. So that was quite a relief that all these things went in without much of a hitch. But then I'll come to that in a bit. I had to take the panel out because of the one of the backup batteries. So my panel or my Avionics have two 6 ampere hour IBBS backup batteries from TCW Technologies, and one of them has become faulty, and it kind of gives power to the units regardless of even the mains are switched off and all of that. So, and I think normally it's supposed to give power to the units only if it senses the main voltage drops below 11 volts. For some reason mine is providing power continuously, so I'll have to replace that. So hence the panel had to come out. So this was the following week when we've kind of once we've identified that was the issue that was causing the radio and the transponder to be turned on at any time. So the second backup battery had to be removed, and I'm trying to get that replaced. Hopefully, I mean, these things are serviced only in the US, so it'll be hard to get that sorted in the UK. In the meantime, try to get both wings ready for install. So basically you have to put in the aileron push rods. One thing you you shouldn't forget. And you don't have to have that connected up. The wiring connectors, I did them. Midwest provided these connectors, so I just had to crimp them onto the wiring that was already placed in the wings. The right wing as well here was also kind of ready for install. So both wings are essentially now ready to be bolted on. So that's something for next week. In the meantime, we've been tidying up all the remaining holes in the firewall. So this was something that James suggested, and he may in fact machine these parts for me. There's the 2 aluminium bushings. So basically you'll have a stepped bushing which will sit nicely, will centrally locate in the hole that you're trying to fill. So there's one example here. I filled one of the holes that was intended for the I think it's for the fuel return, which we did on the other side, and then I had another 2 more holes to fill where we've moved the fuel pump to the central location, and the cable pass-through bits, obviously Sling provides brackets to cover that up, and still probably have to put some sound insulation for those bits. But that's all coming together. And then here, I think this was towards the end, we tried to fit the cowlings after paint. I mean, they did fit fine before, but after paint was good to see them fitted. The cam lock fasteners, and I put the washers in behind it to secure them permanently on the cowling. And in terms of the paint scheme, it's pretty much there, but the vinyl accents on the fuselage are yet to be done. So plan is, once the aircraft is fully finished, we'll look at the design and choose a design for the fuselage, for the vinyl accents on the fuselage to match the overall look. These cam lock fasteners are quite easy to do, but these Zeus ones at the bottom, they're a pain, and I've in fact damaged one of them in the process of doing that, so be careful with those. There are different heights they're available, and to get the right fit, and they need a special tool to insert them as well, so it's quite tricky to do. But yeah, now so pretty much next steps are to try and get the wings on, and then then we'll be able to start some testing again, engine run up, and hopefully, and then the windshield is the other bit to be done.